Okay. Alright, so welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, classic known classics. This is episode number 24, 33, and double number 23, 27. We have a Hulk Epic Collection and an absolute, basically Avengers Absolute Vision, along with the additional Avengers issue. First up we have is The Incredible Hulk Epic Collection, Volume 13, Crossroads. These are the last issues written by Bill Mantlo. Yep, this is the end of his era. Book collects issues 297 to 313, A number 13, Alpha Flight number 29. So Bill Mantlo on the writing. We have Sal Buscema, Alan Kupperberg, Brad Pivens, and Mike Mignola on the artwork. Now, I'm basically going to be skipping over the first four issues, 297 to 300, because I've discussed this already in Hulk Regression. We're discussing the Crossroads issues, which take up issues 301 to 313, and of course also the epilogue as an Alpha Flight 29. They also have the annual publishing here, Annual 13, which I think that was the last thing he did for the series. Now, by the way, this book had covered the time period of July of 1984, include in December of 1985, covering about 18 months. That's most what this is. So, in these issues for the Crossroads era, basically Hulk is in the Crossroads. It's this other dimension that Hulk was sent to by Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is questioned why he did this. He did this to protect people. That was some of the reason for it. And some people are quite happy because basically Hulk has caused millions of dollars of damage because of his rampaging he did across the country, and this saves taxpayers a lot of money. So some people are happy, some people are not happy with the fact he did this. The first new character we have in here is the Puffball Collective. Yeah, it's this weird creature who is pretty much here for this entire storyline. Yeah, but he does come back later on, don't worry. He comes back in a follow-up storyline, plus a one-shot. Yeah, so starts out in 301. Also has the annual part of the story, too. So basically, Hulk meets various creatures with this whole thing. Basically a lot of medieval stuff. I love the whole, also the Iron Knights here. It's more also about Hulk traveling to these Crossroads, this other dimension. It feels like basically Hulk in medieval. It's like Hulk on their planet once again. That's kind of in a way what these issues are. And we also see the return of the UFOs. Yes, we finally see them fully back here. And they're sent here with they basically follow the Hulk here. And they're here for a couple of issues before they go back over to Avengers for a brief period of time. They only pop up Hulk just a few more times after this. Yeah, after these two issues, next thing Hulk until 397 and 401, and that's it. Yep. After counting Hulk for a couple issues, then they're basically most of them are killed off here, but they all come back. Don't worry. Doctor Strange himself is kind of here mostly. But mostly it's here just to remind people about what's going on here. And the story itself continues for quite a while. We also have people get killed off by issue 307. One's throwing the Slayer. Yeah, he was an old character that he was brought back for the storyline. After he last appeared in issue 306, where he last appeared back in issue 137. Yes. And also Captain Cyber. They kill him off too. He was also last appeared in that issue, so yep. His creature known as a Triad. Puffball Collective gets killed off in 308. Mike Mignola does all these covers, amazing covers in here. And mostly the story itself gets wrapped up by mostly 313. And the epilogue is an issue of Alpha Flight of all things. Yes, an issue of Alpha Flight. Hulk also saved a girl from being sacrificed in these issues, which is interesting. Yeah, and the girl's name is just an unknown alien woman. They don't know who she is. Yeah, so and we also have a sort of a tie-in to Secret Wars 2. Yeah, it's basically just coming completely out of nowhere. It's let's just basically throw it. Also, have it serve as a backstory for the Hulk, establishing his father as an abusive father. Yes. Now, Brian Banner, he first appeared in Hulk 267. Here he gets killed off. Later on. And then the finale is held in 313. But then the epilogue is held in the book. And then basically the apparent death of Walter Lansky, who next appears in Alpha Flight number 28. But then we have the Alpha Flight 29, which mostly puts service as an epilogue to the Crossroads storyline. It's mostly put exactly what this is. And, well, and then basically with, after that, then basically John Byrne takes over the writing of the book for a very brief period of time. Yeah, but these issues are really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading this. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Now, before I move on to my Avengers trade we're talking about here, let's go final thoughts on Bill Manslow's run for the Hulk. This run was absolutely amazing, and this is something this guy basically wrote Hulk for the first half of the 1980s. And then the second half, up into basically for the next 10 years, it is most of them by Peter David. I think he doesn't wrap the book up until the book is relaunched in the mid-90s. So he does the book for the next 10 years. 10 years. So, yeah. Well, not immediately per se, versus John Byrne, then it's Peter David. But, excuse me, in my honest opinion, Bill Mansell had one of the greatest runs in history of the Hulk. It's set up original. It's just really cool. It's interesting, though, we actually had to end this run here. We're in like this at a very strange number, like 313. Like, you think like 300 because the issue never ended. Nope. We'll continue for another year. And then we finally ended. Yep. But great set of issues. Love them. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Next up we have is Avengers Absolute Vision Book 2. This book collects issues from Avengers. Number 242 to 254. Yep. Yeah, these are basically your issues here. Yeah, so we have basically, kind of in a way, basically we lead stuff. We have Hawkeye rejoining the team with, of course, Mockingbird. Of course, this is the first time they appeared since, well, aside from the later lemon issue, this is probably the first time they appeared in the book since the Hawkeye miniseries. And then we have the famous issue Vision Takes the Man, where he takes over leadership of the team. And what happens this issue, with Vison's suggestion by the Vision, is that basically we establish a West Coast branch of the Avengers, which basically, this is basically, in a way, this mentioning is basically a prelude to West Coast Avengers, where Hawkeye and Mockingbird basically established their own team because they needed to build more people up, so they decided to go to the West Coast. And that basically would be a success for Marvel for the next decade, until the book was concluded in mid-90s. Yeah, so, and of course, basically, they mentioned, oh yeah, now we are moving next to it, we deal with Dire Wraiths. Yep, this is sort of a loose tie-in to what goes on the pages of Rom. Yeah, so, we have a tie-in to Rom. Rom is, in case you're curious, is he featured in this book? Aside from Dire Wraiths, the Rom is not here. And it's only for like, just for a couple, how long is Dire Wraiths in? How long are they in Avengers for? They are only here, I think, just for a couple issues. Yeah, they're only here for 244 and 245. And then pretty much they wrap up this thing just a couple issues. With 246, you have She-Hulk guest starring here after she just joined the Fantastic Four. And of course, you deal with stuff with Cersei. It's like, this is kind of in the way basically leading to Cersei leading during the Avengers. And it's basically kind of the way the Avengers Internal Saga, which starts with issue 246, and we continue into 248. And if you're really curious, that's kind of in the way where they wrap up the whole Internal Saga. Yep. Yeah. So then we lead to the 250, which deals with Maelstrom, basically an old enemy of the Things. Hercules rejoins the roster. Yep. He last appeared back in Thor 353. Yep. Then 251, Vision is basically a human self and a robot self, which is interesting. Wasp leaves the team. And her next appearance is in issue 254. Yeah, she's only gone for a couple issues, and of course, basically, we deal with a guest appearance by the West Coast Avengers in another issue. In 250, yeah, it's here with the West Coast Avengers deal with this Maelstrom. And then basically with that little... And then in 253, basically, we deal with the Blood Brothers. Yeah, from the pages of Iron Man. And then we have Vision versus Quasimodo. Interesting. Who last appeared in an issue of ROM. Yep. And then 254, Vision goes crazy, becomes a bad guy for an issue, particularly, but he does basically, in a way, takes over the country for a brief period of time. But in case you're curious, though, does it lead anywhere? Well, indirectly, this sets up Vision Quest. That's mostly what this issue does. That's what it sets up here. But great set of issues. Love it. Give this book a 10 out of 10. But before we conclude here, we have an issue from the main Avengers book. Yeah. Now, 263, which is another issue here, I'll discuss that when I discuss the very next, after the next volume. I'll discuss volume 6 in the future. I'll discuss the future comic corner. I'll discuss that in volume 7. Mostly put in 262, it's basically like Submariner. I believe this is the issue. We started with Stingray, where it's mostly like Captain Marvel. It's a very interesting issue. It's mostly put about kind of basically of how Submariner kind of joined the Avengers. It's basically him joining the roster. And then we see something like, and then he kind of in a way joins the team with 262. Yep, that's the whole point. 262 is that he joins the Avengers with this issue. Yeah, Namor joins the roster. He last appeared back in Superman Team number 10. And, by the way, the issues are written by Roger Stern. Yep, that's your writer for these issues. Yeah, Roger Stern is the writer. With artwork by Al Mulgrew, Steve Ditko, Bob Hall, and Carmen Fantino. Front cover artwork for the trade for Absolvision is basically by Bob Hall, Jeff Rusin, and Thomas Mason. The back cover is Al Mulgrew, Joseph, and Tom Smith. But yeah, good stuff here. I'll discuss the following issue, 63, in Fantastic Four by John Byrne, Volume 7. Because that's what Cut did. Now, why did it decide to do 262? Because the very next thing the cover would be Legacy Thanos, but I discussed that already. So, and of course, discuss also Under Siege. So I figured though, why not squeeze this in here? Now, guess how many trades left to go review for Avengers? The only two. We have the both Epic Collections. One is Judgment Day, the other is Heavy Metal, and once finishing these two trades, that's Avengers. Yep, Avengers will be done. And then I think the next series to wrap up, not long after wrap up Avengers, probably be Fantastic Four. Yep. But yeah, that's particular view. I'm just going to do Doctor Who next and a couple more comic corners. And then I'm going to work on Devil's Part-Timer. Okay, next view. Bye.